First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future. That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Hey everyone, it's Renee with CSB for you and me, and we're here with our second part to our series on the history with Denise Forbes and Dr. J. Rowland. All right, everyone, we're back with my two favorite people, Dr. Rowland and Miss Denise Forbes. And, of course, during every commercial break, we start yapping about something. So I want to make sure that we talk about our board. We have a wonderful board. Who wants to tell me about the board?
Denise wants to tell you about the board.
We are governed still by, under statute, by Board of Health. When the CSBs came into existence in 1994, we had the opportunity at that time to stay with the Board of Health structure or go with a CSB board structure, and we stayed with the Board of Health structure. The same board that governs our public health department governs our agency. They're the same people, but the boards are actually separate boards. In other words, the funds aren't commingled. The processes that we talk about and the things that we talk about are different. But currently, we have 7 members on the board, most of whom are they're either laid out in statute as to a person's position, and that based on their position that they hold, like the mayor of the largest municipality for the Lawrence County Board of Health would be on our board. So Mayor Phil Best, by virtue of his position,
Right.
Is on our board. The county school superintendent at the time for the Lawrence County area is on our board. So Dr. Dan Brigman is, because of his position, is on our board. Judy Davis was a former staff member here for 30 years and spent probably 6 or so years not actually being on our board, but there was an opportunity for her to join the board. She was an appointee by our city government here in Dublin. And she is also our board chair.
Right.
She was elected by the board to be the board chair and has remained in that position for a number of years. Dr. Joe Carruth, who is a retired cardiologist, is our vice chair for the board. And we have 5 additional members. It's a 7-member board. We're very thankful. They're all very dedicated people in our community. Very connected to a lot of the different aspects of the community. The Board of Commissioners have the most appointees to the board, and then the City of Dublin, like I said, they also have an appointee, and then there are, I think, 3 members that are designated in statute. We also have an advisory board for the boards, for the agencies at the time who elected to stay with Board of Health. Those CSBs also had to have an advisory board that would be made up of representatives from all of the counties that they serve. So initially, we had representatives from all 10 of our counties. When we merged with Ogeechee, their board was dissolved, and the members that were on their board at the time were asked to join our advisory board.
Right.
And those members came over, or the ones that were able to stay on. And we have a group of individuals now from around the 16 counties, business people, folks that have been involved with mental health advocates, people who have family members that have been patients of ours or consumers of ours, as we call them, participants, individuals who may have even received services themselves. We have some people on our advisory board that have been homeless before. So it's a wide range of diverse group coming from all different backgrounds, all different needs, all different interests. But the most significant thing is that they have a heart for mental health services, and that they want to support their communities, and they become our voice and our ears. They come back to us with things that they hear about in their community where their needs are, and they listen and they take back, from our work, things that we're able to share, programming that we're able to bring to the community. So they help educate their communities, bring awareness, but at the same time also they're a voice for their own communities in terms of where the gaps of services are. So we're very we're lucky, and I would think also we're very fortunate to be able to have the caliber of folks that support our agency as much as they do. And believe me, they do. They're very involved in all aspects of what we do, and we try to keep both boards, the advisory board and our governance board, very well informed of the things that we're involved with.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Did you get that? That's a lot.
It's a lot.
But we have support. And that's as an employee, that is nice to know that we have that much support and that much interest in our community when it comes to our umbrella of services. So tell me about this land. Dr. Rowland and I spoke about Lake Leisure. We spoke about how we're so close to the VA, but we've got some expansion coming.
We do. About a year ago, Dr. Kraft, who is the public health director, approached us about their beginning plans to maybe make a move with their office. There are two buildings right next to our main campus here in Dublin. One is the former Lawrence County Health Department. As you're driving into the complex, it would be the first building. And the second building that's right next door to our office here was what was the former South Central District office.
Right.
And so, it's so convenient, and we hated to see them leave. They have been really strong partners of ours and supporters for as long as we've been in existence. But they needed a little bit of extra room, and so when that kind of became known and it kind of looked like they were going to make that move, we started talking about the possibility of maybe acquiring the property. And so we've actually talked with the step would be, after we talked with the health department or district health office, we talked to Brian Rogers, who's our county manager here in Lawrence County, and Brian, of course, then talked with the commissioners, and they had to vote on it, and they did vote for us to have the property. We've, I guess, cut the check and paid the money, and we're waiting on getting a copy of the deed, but we're really excited about it. The thing that we're looking at right now, probably moving some of our more like our back end operations into what was the South Central Health District, and freeing up another building on the campus for some substance abuse programming. And eventually, we've also asked the county to help us go after a CDBG grant, Community Development Block Grant.
Okay.
And they have agreed and voted to help us with that, to help get the former Lawrence County Health Department back up to a workable building. It's got good bones, we understand. We had Mr. Garbutt come out and take a look at it for us, sort of an initial preliminary walkthrough, and it's going to take some money and it'll take some time and attention, but our plans are to get that moving. We've started the process. We've had some meetings. Amy Tribble is our Chief Operating Officer, and Amy is spearheading that project for us. She's been in touch with the Regional Development Commission, and she's also our liaison with the county and in this project, and so we're very hopeful Hopefully, but by the end of the year, at least by the first of next year, we'll see some things moving forward in that
Yeah,
regard.
we got a pretty good chance of getting that too, because that'll provide clinical services.
That's right.
And that's what the state wants, is a CDGB that will provide clinical
That's right.
services and give us an opportunity to greatly expand even now what we're
Right.
doing and move different facilities in there. So, yeah, that's great.
And one of the things, we did talk about the autism services earlier, but they mentioned today in our management team meeting that we're just kind of busting out of the seams. Once you take on a project like that, or you are the recipient of a new grant, those programs usually come with expansion of staff, because you have to have staff that are dedicated to that specific purpose. And so we are in need of some space with those programs, and hopefully even just getting this first building here refurbished and able to move in will alleviate some additional staffing elsewhere on the campus, and where we can free up some office space and move some programs.
And we're going to get
Yes,
a facelift on our sign. That's what I'm
We
supposed to be
are-
working
we are
on.
getting- we are-
The sign. So our sign out front is going to change. It's not going to say Health
Yeah.
Department anymore. It's
Right.
just going to say CSB of Middle Georgia.
That's right.
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break. We'll be back after this.
Local events coverage brought to you in part by Jeff Davis and Altera Networks. Altera Networks, premium IT systems backed with world-class support, IT consulting and on-site networking, ongoing support and security. That's Altera Networks. Jeff Davis also serves our community as Lawrence County Commissioner, District 3, and continues to serve our community at large.
Okay, y'all, we're back again, and I've got a pop quiz. I told Dr. Rowland that I'm going to catch him off guard. So we want to talk about Rise Up,
Rise up!
Rise Up.
Rise up!
So hopefully you've heard about Rise Up.
Rise up!
You have to
Rise
do it.
up!
You have to do it every time. So we're going to talk about Rise Up.
Rise up!
Rise up once more!
All right, so let's see. I get so excited talking about Rise Up. I think it's another one of those things. I think the state is probably proud of Dublin for our Rise Up services. So you don't have to do it again. You don't have to do it. But maybe, Denise, you can help explain how we got started with Rise Up, maybe where our vision was and how we've actually put it into effect, and how it's another blessing that we have.
I do think we do have the attention of the department in a number of ways, and I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that in a bragging way. I say that in a way that I believe is a fact based on the work that our staff does, and the fact that I believe that our department can depend on us. And so about a year ago, we were approached by Department of Behavioral Health, Developmental Disabilities about some new monies that were coming down in the form of a grant. We did have to apply for it. It was not a guaranteed, it was a guaranteed pot of money that they were going to just give over. There was an application. It was a pretty rigorous process. It was a piloted type of a grant. We understood it to be something like a phase 1, hoping that this would be replicated in other places around the state. There were 16 grants that were originally funded. We were one of those 16, and out of the 16 grants, 6 were CSBs. So only 6 were CSBs, and we were one of those 6.
Wow.
One of the 16 and one of the 6 CSBs. So we were very excited about that. And we got off and running very fast with it. We secured a location on Academy Avenue in a historic building.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful location. The setting is just beautiful. We had a soft opening in October, so the funds came down. We started around September. Within about a month, we found the location, got everything put together, got it decorated with a lot of help from Elise Tapley and our other team, and did it on a shoestring budget, very frugal, but very comfortable. a place, really kind of a place of refuge for people that are in a number of different places in recovery, to meet them wherever they're at, and really to meet people in recovery no matter what path they took toward recovery. So it is a recovery service organization, recovery community organization. There's no services that are actually billed out of Rise Up. It's really peer support on a level, 2 people talking or 3 people talking, being able to provide some wraparound services, or suggestions or referrals or resources or networking, helping people get back on their feet. We wind up now, we look at the data, because we have to track everything. There is an accountability piece to the grant.
Right.
They want to know how many people are receiving any type of, and I'm using the word service again, it's not a billable service, but any type of service or activity that they participate in through Rise Up. And right now we're running around 500 unduplicated individuals per month, and about 1,000, a little over 1,000 contacts per month, and that's a lot.
That's a
for,
lot.
For
That's amazing.
Dublin,
That's really
Lawrence County.
amazing.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And
So
we're going to have an episode on that too.
We are.
So we're going to have an episode on Rise Up because they've got a coffee shop, a gym. They help with resumes, help you get your GED.
Right.
They have meetings there. They have a fire pit in the back.
Right.
I can do a whole nother show about it, but it's an amazing service
For
that we
people
provide.
in recovery.
For people in recovery.
And you don't have to come through open access. You don't have to figure out your insurance. You don't have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. It's a hangout place, and you can bring your kids. It's a family place.
Right.
So we could go on forever about Rise Up, but Rise Up is another part of the blessing of living in our area and the services that we provide
For those we serve.
to those we serve.
Right.
Our staff is amazing, and I enjoy planning the summit every year because I know I have a great team to help me. And I think about the Clubhouse and how the Clubhouse was evolved. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the Clubhouse, as Dr. Rowland said, it's a 5-unit. It was called Old Town Shopping Center.
Right.
That had been there for a number of years, that was not being used. So our staff went in after we secured a grant for this to be able to establish a clubhouse. They really did about 90% of the work, and
Wow.
it was just unbelievable. I was thinking about going by there every week or so to see the progress, and it was overwhelming to see the things that our folks did. The talent that was there, and sometimes it's untapped talent.
Right.
You start asking some questions, who can do what, and people know. People that work together closely. Somebody might not use that talent every day, but they know that somebody can draw really well, or somebody can paint really well, or somebody's really creative about coming up with some themes along a line of a particular line of thought that you're trying to work into. And so it just watching it develop over time, it was just unbelievable. And I can remember, we had our open house in October of 2015. We had started really working on it. We closed on it at the last of April of that year, worked on it for several months, started services there in July, very small amount of services, but started services. But in October, it took us that many months to get it where we really needed it to be for our open house. And just watching it come together was just amazing. And, just about everything we do, I don't want to minimize the work because it's an enormous amount of effort. But it's our staff collectively, independently and collectively, have such a can-do spirit. They don't take no for an answer. They try to think outside the box. They try to figure out ways that if our department believes in us enough to think that we can do something, then we must be able to do that. They believe in themselves enough, and they will come up with a plan, and work out a time frame, a timeline, and before you know it, it's everything we do is like that. And it's so it's just exciting, to sit back and be a part of that. First of all, you can't lead an organization no matter what area of leadership you're in, and you can't be a part of an organization that's going places if you don't have that teamwork aspect. And I believe we have that here. I mean, that lives here. We have that ability to come together even when we have differences of opinion, and get through all the chafe and come to the table and say, this is the direction we're going in. And so a lot of times I kind of see my role as, trying to have more of a big picture plan, sort of a vision of where we need to go based on the events that are taking place around our state and our nation.
Right.
But if you don't have a team behind you that also sees this vision and can move forward with this vision, you have nothing. And I'm just so thankful. I mean, I have the best management team. I really do. I mean, like I said, we may not always get along, or I shouldn't say it that way. We may have a difference of opinion about how we might want to see something come to fruition. But at the end of the day, we're of one accord, and we move forward with it. And the backing that our board places on us, if we come to them with a determination, we're going to get this done, and this is what we need to be doing, we just have the best of both worlds. And I don't ever want our staff ever not to understand how important we feel that they are, and how valued they are in terms of the work that they do, and in terms of their belief in another person. We talk about recovery and how important recovery is in somebody's life, and our staff live it every day. They don't have to be somebody that is in recovery. We do have a lot of staff that are people in recovery, and we have a lot of staff that have these lived experiences that add to the breadth of what we're able to accomplish here. But if you truly believe that people can change, that they do want to change at times, that they need help, that there's a better way, if you believe that in your core, and you lay out a path for somebody to have a better life, if you believe that, good things happen. And it's the walk that it's just the way we live our life here. And you can't be around our management team, you cannot be around our senior managers, you cannot be around the people that work on a day-to-day basis in the trenches. The people that provide the direct care to the individuals that we serve. You cannot be around that staff on a daily basis and not see it. We have people on our property constantly auditing us, surveying us, providing oversight to us, looking behind us. And do we do everything correct? No, we don't. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we do. But our heart, I think, is in the right place. We try very, very hard. And when these people leave our property, they say more times than not, you've got the most wonderful staff. We do.
You've got miles and miles of grass to mow. So you're going to need a machine built to perform. Day in and day out. Season after season. You're going to need a Gravely. Built to mow the distance.
Now at Myers Equipment and Supplies in Dublin.
We absolutely do have the most wonderful staff, and everything that Denise has said is true. It is wonderful. It is great, and the reason that we have that is because of the leadership. The person that leads this is the person that makes it what it is. The people follow the person that, if the person is leading it slovenly, the staff is going to be slovenly.
Right.
And we've got this great leadership here, this great team, because of who's at the top.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
I was fixing to say that, but you jumped in. So I want to add to that, as an employee, that's my favorite part about my job, is that if I have a struggle or if I think it should go in a different direction, I'm comfortable enough to come to my supervisor and talk about it and say, oh, what if we did this? Every employee is able to dream, have a vision, ask for support with direction to help the individuals, and to have that support from our leadership team makes our job not just a job, a mission, and it's fun at the same time. So I think we're blessed in a lot of ways. If from looking down or looking up, we make a great team. And another part of my favorite part, and I am a living testimony to this, I think a lot of our success is that we tap into that unknown talent, or we find each other's strengths. And even as supervisors, as bosses, as CEOs, we guide our staff into the right position to where they will be successful. We don't say, this is your job, this is all that you do, and you just focus on what you're doing. No, every staff member looks at the big picture. Every staff member sees where their strengths and weaknesses are. We become family, so we push each other into the direction of success. So that keeps you a happy employee. But I think that is a lot of the success as an employee, as from my point of view, of why we have the heart, we have the mission, and we come to work with that goal in mind to help people.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about our staff and we're talking about our program, we wouldn't be anything without the support of our community.
That's correct.
Exactly.
That's right.
So I want to make sure we talk about that, because I could talk about LOCC every day, but we have, even just on our campus, we're connected. You said we've got support with the VA. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we absolutely do. The welfare of the VA has been a sort of a passion of mine for, well, about 60 years. I've lived next door to it, and when I was in the Congress, I was on the House Veterans Affairs Committee and was very much involved with what was going on, not only in the VA and the country, but very much here as well. So I'm kind of naturally, I guess, a liaison from this community mental health center to the VA there and what goes on there. And we do have a lot of programs that we work with together.
Right.
We mentioned Suicide Prevention Coalition.
They're part of LOCC.
That's exactly right. And so we have this great working relationship. And let me mention that the VA has recently gotten a new full-time director, Dr. David Whitman. And I've had the opportunity to talk with him on several occasions and listen to him. He is very much committed to this community. He chose this community specifically, he said, because he liked what he found here. And so he is going to be a real part, and is a real part of this community. His family is still in Florida. He came from Florida because he's got a high school kid there that they couldn't move him out of school there.
Right.
But he'll have his family up here before long, and he's just doing a real good job, I think. And we just have a wonderful working relationship with this Carl Vinson VA Medical Center.
Yes, they do. Marla Roach, she's with the VA.
Yes.
And there's actually 4 or 5. If you came to our summit, we had 4 or 5 different tables representing different parts of the VA. The homeless, suicide prevention, they have a coalition, they have a group. I can't even remember it off the top of my head, but they come to our LOCC. They are very active in our community. Yeah. And I want to make sure that if there's someone else, I can think of so many people because of my coalition that I coordinate, that we wouldn't be here today if we wouldn't have the connections with other people in the community. Our school systems,
law enforcement.
Law enforcement. I mean, it's everywhere. So
DFACS.
Yeah.
Social Security. I mean, we could just go. Just about
just
any,
everybody.
Yeah, the churches, faith-based community. We're very much a part of what they. I mean, they help us meet a lot of the needs that we have here.
Right. So if you're interested in participating, I always say there's always a need and there's always a place for you within your community, within our mental health, within our umbrella of behavioral health, with our kids or adults, that you can be active. You can get a job with us. You can come get the services that you need, become a certified peer specialist. We'll talk about that in a couple episodes from now. There's just a lot of roles that as active as you can be within your community, you'll learn that you'll love this area.
The more active you are in your community, the more you love it. You've already said that.
Yep,
Right.
that's a good,
And the more active you are in your community, the better your community is for that.
Exactly.
yep. Well, I appreciate y'all coming today. I appreciate both of your times. I'm glad that my viewers got to see who my boss lady is. And I hope that you learned something today when it comes to the history of our Community Service Board and how large of a Community Service Board we are, how great of a team we are, and how we love our community members. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Renee.